Hello, welcome everyone. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do. Also, please share the content. I want to grow the channel. At times we need to reflect and at times we need to talk about serious events. Our focus will be on Duppy encounters in Jamaica, eyewitness accounts and cultural significance. Across Jamaica's lush landscapes and vibrant communities, stories of supernatural encounters with Duppies have been passed down through generations, forming an integral part of the island's rich culture. These ghostly tales, far from mere entertainment, represent a complex intersection of history, spirituality, and cultural identity that continues to resonate with Jamaicans today. The nature of Duppies in Jamaican folklore. The term Duppy originates from West Africa and found its way into Caribbean culture through the tragic path of the slave trade. In Jamaican folklore, a Duppy refers to a ghost, spirit, or sometimes a demonic entity. When a person dies, the good soul passes on to the afterlife, while the earthly soul remains in the body for up to 9 days. If proper funerary rites are not observed during this critical period, there is a significant risk that the spirit might escape and continue to exist as a Duppy. These spiritual entities are typically regarded as forces that bring misfortune and distress to those they encounter. Duppies are said to primarily emerge at night to haunt people, and residents from across the Jamaican islands claim to have witnessed their presence. As one local described during an interview with tourists in Jamaica, Duppy are generally regarded as spirits who bring misfortune and woe on those they seek out. They are said to mostly come out and haunt people at night, and people from around the islands claim to have seen them. Types of Duppies and their manifestations. Jamaica's Duppy lore encompasses various types of spiritual manifestations, each with distinct characteristics and behaviors. The first is the rolling calf. The rolling calf. Perhaps the most infamous and feared of all Duppies is the rolling calf. This entity is often depicted as a shapeshifter, believed to be the spirit of an exceptionally wicked person, such as a murderer or even a butcher. With its terrifying flaming red eyes, it roams along country roads during nighttime hours, dragging a rattling chain behind it. Some descriptions portray the rolling calf as a hybrid creature, half human and half animal, typically resembling a goat or cow. Human-formed Duppies. Some Duppies manifest in human form, often resembling the body they departed from in life. These entities have substance rather than appearing as translucent apparitions, yet possess the supernatural ability to vanish into shadows at will. Witnesses have reported encounters with various human-formed Duppies, including the notorious White Witch of Rose Hall and the Rasta Duppy that allegedly appeared in photographs and videos. Animal manifestations. Duppies may also take the form of animals, such as snakes, lizards, or horses. Unlike ghostly apparitions or demonic possessions in Western folklore, these manifestations are believed to have physical substance despite their supernatural origins and abilities. Notable eyewitness accounts. The Spanish Town Duppy. One of the most widely reported Duppy encounters in recent years involved an 11-year-old boy in Spanish Town. According to numerous sources, a wayward spirit had been tormenting the child, kicking, pulling, and throwing objects at him and other community members on Martin Street. The incident gained such notoriety that CVM TV news crews documented the alleged supernatural activity. During the recorded encounter, the boy claimed to see a ghost standing near a wall and demonstrated unusual behavior that appeared to show him fighting off an invisible presence 11. The disturbing episode left the child visibly traumatized, seeking comfort in his grandmother's embrace. In response to these events, Bishop Johann Edwards was called to perform a spiritual intervention, challenging what he believed was an evil spirit to reveal itself 11. Throughout the ritual, objects were reportedly thrown by an unseen force, which the bishop considered sufficient evidence of a supernatural presence. The boy was subsequently blessed with olive oil as the bishop declared, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." The Rasta Duppy. Another compelling eyewitness account involves a man named John Brown from Eltham in Port Morant, St. Catherine. Brown claimed that after living comfortably in his rented premises for 5 years, his living space became invaded by the ghost of a Rastaman. The Duppy allegedly made its presence known in a remarkable way, photobombing a photograph that Brown took with his daughter. In the short video that captured this moment, witnesses described seeing a man wearing a gray robe and a pair of black zippers, walking by slowly. Upon closer examination of the footage, it was claimed that the man's lips were sealed shut and his eyes were closed. Brown explained that he had no idea he was sharing his home with a Rasta Duppy until he was reviewing pictures on his phone and made the startling discovery. Another man in a district in Jamaica drinks every night for over 20 years because he claims that this is the only way he can sleep because a past relative of his who died years ago shared the house with him. To avoid any problems, he arrives home every night drunk. The Font Hill Copy Duppy. Dating back to the early 1970s, the Copy Duppy story from Font Hill in St. Thomas stands as one of Jamaica's most enduring supernatural tales. An eyewitness known as Pumpkin recounted being just a few feet away when a bizarre incident occurred. Only a specific section of a banana tree mysteriously caught fire, triggering a series of inexplicable events in the rural community. Described as one of the most exciting Duppy stories out of Jamaica at that time, this account has persisted in cultural memory for decades, with Pumpkin's testimony keeping listeners on the edge of their seats. Cultural beliefs and practices. Protection and prevention. Jamaican folklore includes various methods for protecting against duppies and preventing the deceased from becoming malevolent spirits. One crucial practice is planting the duppy down, which must be performed during the 3-day grace period after death before the spirit manifests. A properly planted duppy is believed to be unable to leave its coffin. The planting of a duppy is for another video. Traditional methods for accomplishing this include specific burial rituals and protective measures. As one source describes, when someone dies, the good soul soars to heaven to answer for its earthly sins. The other remains coffin-bound for 3 days, after which its shadow emerges and its duppy is born. It's important to note that not all duppies are considered harmful. A well-intentioned duppy might stick around to sit with the children or guard the family valuables. However, since it's impossible to know whether you'll wind up with a good one or an evil one, it's best to silence a duppy from the start. Duppies in contemporary Jamaican culture. Despite modernization and changing beliefs, duppy stories remain deeply embedded in Jamaican culture. Devon House, a renowned heritage site, has embraced these traditional tales through its Devon Duppy, the Haunted Mansion Encounters tours, which share the venue's fabled stories through the perspective of ghosts. According to Marsha Riley Brown, marketing and events manager at Devon House Development Limited, these tours aim to bridge the generational gap in telling the story of the Jamaican heritage site. She explained, "We wanted to present history in a way that is fun and exciting to the millennial and younger generation. It was just another way of telling the history of the mansion with a fascinating culture." The White Witch of Rose Hall, Jamaica's most famous duppy. No examination of Jamaican duppy lore would be complete without discussing the legendary White Witch of Rose Hall. This tale centers on Annie Palmer, a 19th century plantation owner who allegedly murdered 3 of her husbands and terrorized the slaves of Rose Hall before being killed in retribution. According to eyewitness accounts, Palmer's spirit continues to haunt the property, often appearing as a rider on horseback. Her presence has made Rose Hall one of Jamaica's most famous tourist attractions, with visitors reporting being shoved by invisible hands, objects disappearing and reappearing, and footsteps echoing through empty halls. This chilling narrative has permeated popular culture, inspiring literature, music, and film. Johnny Cash, who once resided near Rose Hall, even wrote The Ballad of Annie Palmer in 1973, singing, "At night I hear you riding, and I hear your lover's call, and I still can feel your presence round the great house at Rose Hall." The White Witch's story exemplifies how Duppy tales can transcend mere folklore to become cultural touchstones that draw international interest. Today, golf broadcasters at the White Witch Golf Course regularly share the grounds with camera crews hoping to capture paranormal phenomena. The psychological and cultural significance of Duppy encounters. Duppy stories serve multiple purposes in Jamaican society beyond entertainment. They often function as cautionary tales, moral lessons, or explanations for otherwise inexplicable events. The persistence of these beliefs reflects their deep cultural roots and psychological importance. As one commentator noted in the Jamaica Gleaner, "I wonder if this Duppy bears any relation to that pesky poltergeist that has been tormenting Jamaica for quite some time, the same one that has been kicking us with rampant crime and corruption, pulling us into enormous debt and throwing false promises at us." This metaphorical use of Duppy imagery demonstrates how these spiritual concepts have become powerful symbols for addressing social and political concerns. Conclusion. Eyewitness accounts of Duppy encounters continue to captivate the Jamaican imagination, representing a living tradition that connects contemporary Jamaicans with their cultural heritage. Whether viewed as literal, supernatural occurrences or metaphorical expressions of collective anxieties, these stories provide a unique window into Jamaica's complex spiritual landscape. The enduring power of Duppy folklore demonstrates how indigenous spiritual beliefs have survived alongside imported religious traditions, creating a distinctive cultural synthesis. From Spanish Town to Rose Hall, from rural communities to tourist attractions, the Duppy remains an indelible part of Jamaica's cultural identity, a spectral presence that refuses to be exorcised from the nation's collective consciousness. As Jamaica continues to navigate the complexities of modernity, these supernatural narratives offer both continuity with the past and a means of processing contemporary challenges, ensuring that the Duppy will continue to haunt the imagination of generations to come. Thanks for listening, and please like, share, and subscribe.